Welcome to the SENcast. My name is Dale Pickles. I'm the Managing Director of B Squared and the host of the SENcast. Each week on the podcast, we talk about a different topic within the world of SEN to improve our knowledge, to provide support to professionals working in schools, and to empower parents. In this episode, we discuss navigating SEN parenting and tools for thriving. I was joined this week by Sharona Smith, the founder and CEO of Thrive Creations. Sharona is a mum of twins, one who has ADHD. And Sharona started Thrive Creations back in October 2024 after breaking down due to her son's intense meltdowns. Thrive Creations was originally created to support parents of SEN children. Sharona has now designed tools to support those children as well. The SENcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared, and we help to show those small steps of progress pupils with SEND make. And we help schools to show the progress for a wide range of abilities and ages from their starting point. We have a range of frameworks to suit students from birth all the way through to 25 with our Steps for Life framework that looks at functional academic skills, employability skills and life skills. So it's all about that preparing for adulthood and independence. And for the most complex pupils working within the engagement model, we have our engagement steps. Visit the B Square website or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me to take you through our assessment software and how it can help you. Now, let's get on with that podcast. In this week's show, we're discussing navigating SEN parenting and how we can help use tools to help us thrive. My guest on this week's episode is Sharona Smith, the founder and CEO of Thrive Creations. Sharona is a mum of twins, one of whom has ADHD, and Sharona started Thrive Creations in October 2024 after breaking down due to her son's intense meltdowns. Thrive Creations was originally created to support parents of SEN children, but Sharona has now designed tools to support SEN children. Welcome to the show, Sharona.
Thank you for having me.
You helped me learn how to say your name correctly, and then I realised how many times I put it in the intro. Not at all challenging or stressful.
Oh, you did very well. Thank you.
As many of you know, and I know, being a parent of a child with SEN is never easy, and the support comes, if it does come, after the blaming and the shaming. Now, you weren't always in the UK. You've moved over from South Africa.
Correct.
What's your journey? What's your experience been?
So we moved here in February 2022, but my husband came up a bit earlier in March 2021. The twins they were about to turn 2 when he left, and I was single parenting them for almost a year. And Devon, my son, I was really noticing big challenges with his behaviour. He was always the more challenging of the two. My daughter, Alyssa, is a lot easier. She was always the calmer baby. But as an ex-SEN teacher, I was already noticing signs of ADHD very early on. Made me a little bit nervous. But I think having been in that professional environment before, I kind of felt, I can handle this and I'll know what to do and I'll be able to manage him. The year of single parenting was definitely challenging. A lot of behaviours came about and they were very hard for me to deal with. But I figured when we moved to the UK, first world country, we'll be able to get a diagnosis, sort things out. And when we arrived, I realized how challenging the process actually is here.
So you said before we started recording that in South Africa, it's a much simpler process.
Yes. So I had worked at a special needs school in Johannesburg for 4 years. And I worked with children on the autism spectrum, ADHD, dyslexia, or various neurodivergencies. And as young as age 5, children came in already with the diagnosis, many already on medication. We as the teachers would write reports, give feedback. They would see their psychiatrist every few months. Meds would change if needed. There was a lot of on-hand support, and we all worked very closely as a team. Obviously, it's different. Things are privatized there. But the cost of private there is very different to the cost of private here. Very different. And I think having worked in that environment for so long, and that was all I knew, I just kind of expected it to be the same process here. And when I arrived and realized it's not the same, it was quite scary for me.
So you moved over there, your twins were 3?
Yeah, just before they turned 3.
Just
about
before.
6 weeks before they turned 3, we moved. Yeah.
That's challenging because I think in this country, they almost don't like doing diagnosis till they're in school.
Exactly.
And so it's a big challenge if you're seeing the signs, if you're wanting that support, if you're trying to get that diagnosis.
Exactly.
At that stage, you have to be really failing and that child really struggling and everything going completely wrong to get such an early diagnosis in this country.
Exactly. And I think because so many people are struggling, what makes your struggles worse than the next person? And you don't want to be struggling so much because you have to be dealing with those struggles. But at the same time, if you're not struggling enough, then you're not going to get the support you need.
And also, if you learn how to do everything perfectly, so therefore your child doesn't struggle, then there's nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a catch-22, isn't it?
It is. It very much is. So you've come over here?
Yes. So
What year was that?
So that was February 22 that we moved. The kids started nursery, I think literally 2 days after we arrived. I had them in nursery already. I was very organized. And I'd also been single parenting for a year, so I desperately needed them in nursery.
Yes.
And again, at the nursery, I was getting a lot of phone calls, or we were having a lot of chats about Devon's behaviour. Luckily, they were very supportive. It wasn't a case of come collect him, we can't deal with him. But there were a lot of reports of bad behaviour, of running away, not listening, possibly hurting other children. He's quite aggressive, not violent, but aggressive. Again, at that stage, he didn't know how to express himself. He's still very little. His language, I wouldn't call it delayed, but it was more delayed than his sister's. So it took him longer to be able to express himself and say when he was upset or frustrated. So he would take it out on other kids. And obviously I would get those reports. And that was really challenging for me because there wasn't much that I felt I could do about it. I just had to try talk to my 3-year-old and speak to the nursery and say, well, I'm really sorry that this is happening. I've spoken to him and hopefully it won't happen again. And it wasn't really the case. So I knew that this was going to be a long path. I knew what we were in for. I was very anxious for when he was going to start school, what that would look like. But as a SEN parent, this is what you've got to do, and you'll support your child however you can.
Yep.
So they started school in September 2023. And we got into our second choice school, which was the wrong school for Devon. They were not very supportive of him. And again, I just got a lot of negative feedback, a lot of phone calls, a lot of your child's the problem and you need to do something about this. I felt they were working against me, not with me. And 6 months later, we were very grateful that our first choice school called and said there were spots available. And we were able to move the kids over, and the school has been unbelievable for him. They work with me. They love him. He's a challenge. Everyone will say to me, he is not easy, but we love him. He is very charismatic, which gets him by. And as much as the previous school had been pushing me, you have to get a diagnosis, I just kept saying, well, I don't know how you want me to do that because you've lived here longer than me and it's not an easy process, but support him in the interim. They weren't really willing to do that. His current school basically said, this is what we can put in place. This is how we can help. We're here to support you. We're here to support him, which definitely helped. And I'm very grateful to the school for being part of the team with me.
That's very lucky that you were able to switch those schools. That's not a very common thing.
I know.
So that was very lucky. And it's, again, that polarizing view of from two schools of basically bad parenting, your problem, you've got to sort this out,
Exactly.
to he's a challenge, which basically they understand that actually he's kind of delayed in some areas, it's coming out not how he wants, but they're understanding he's probably dysregulated. They understand.
Exactly.
And know, okay, here are things we can do, we can support him. and help you learn the process.
Exactly. And I think it was huge for me because I felt like a failing parent. For those first 6 months of his schooling, it was, what should I be doing? Because I'm obviously not doing enough. And they're saying private diagnosis, and okay, we can't afford that, but maybe we have to, because the school can't help him without a private diagnosis. And I guess that's what I have to do, because I'd be a terrible mother if I didn't get my child what he needs. I genuinely felt on a daily basis like I was failing my child, and that his challenges were my fault because I wasn't doing everything I could to help him, everything I could to fix him as far as the school was concerned. He needed to be fixed, and I wasn't fixing him. It was horrific.
The good old blame and shame, that is always at the start of that journey.
There we go.
It's always there.
Yeah.
Always, either from a school, from other parents.
The judgment.
Oh, yes. And it sticks. Even though you had all that experience.
Exactly.
It's something about it when it's your child.
It's so different.
It hits different. It sticks.
Yeah.
And also, when it's not your child, you are writing reports. You're doing all this. You may care for that child in that professional way, but you get to go home.
Exactly.
As that parent, you are there, you're in bed. It completely hits differently. And when every time you have a meeting, it's not, people say, oh, we haven't had any review. It's like, from their point of view, it's like a professional meeting.
Yeah.
A lot of parents are maybe just trying to hold it together.
Exactly. And sitting in those meetings, hearing all the problems with your child, and, these are the things that he's done wrong, and these are the areas that we need to change him because he's not doing what he should be doing. I'm going, okay, but he's a 4-year-old. He's just started big school. Any 4-year-old might be struggling with that. You're now throwing in a probable ADHD diagnosis, which I can't get currently because I can't go private, but we all know that this is where we're going. And all you're doing is telling me what's wrong with my child. And I don't want to be in these meetings, because if you're not here to tell me how you're going to help him, even what I can do, at home, what are ways that we can support him, why are we just sitting here bad-mouthing my child? I don't need to be in these meetings. It just makes no sense.
No one wants those meetings.
No. Not at all. So the school that they're at now, completely different. The teachers, when I would collect in the afternoons, she would sometimes, feedback, this is what happened, here's an incident. But she'd always start those conversations with, he really tried hard today. Or, I didn't want to call you and tell you this, but I just needed you to be aware, and I thought I'd catch you at the door and tell you. And all those conversations ended with, he's so great. He's got such an amazing energy. The kids love him. He's so funny. They would let him do, I can't remember what it was called now, but it was like Devon's funny moments or Devon's silly time or something. They actually gave him a space in the classroom for a few minutes to be ridiculous, because all the kids loved it. The teachers thought he was hilarious. So he would go stick his head in the bin, or he would, I don't know, climb on the chairs, and everyone would laugh. And then they'd carry on with their day. They gave him that space. Instead of stifling him and calling him a problem and saying these are the issues with my child, they went, you know what, he's great. Let him let it out for a few minutes in a safe environment, and then we'll carry on with our day. It was amazing. I can't even tell you the difference it made.
It's nice. It sounds like putting your head in a bin and going, what? But no, it's a child bin, it's a classroom bin, it's not your food bin. Very different.
Exactly.
Not your food bin.
Very different.
But it is that sort of, again, somebody listening goes, that's a movement break, that's a sensory break, that's a this break.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is. You don't have to give it that name. He just needed to let it all out.
Yeah.
And it also, it's one of those things where when he did struggle, by having the positive bits, it was like it's a contrast.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, Devon did this today and it hurt. Oh, but you have so much fun. You always talk about how good he is. I have, because he's a really good friend.
Yeah.
And he didn't mean it. And it's that, again, whereas if you always have that negative conversations, if you're stifling him and everything is negative,
Exactly.
it's a completely different thing. And, we can find, often, not every, it's not like, oh, they have a gift, they're gifted. But generally, their personality is different. You need to find their personality and help encourage those bits. And you'll see amazing children.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think it's just how you frame it. It's just the way you frame the challenges. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are things that we wish weren't there. And, it would just make our lives so much easier if it wasn't this way or that way. his personality is the way it is because of who he is. And I love who he is. There are days that it's so difficult, but he's an amazing child. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his mother, because everyone says it to me. I sometimes wonder why everyone says it, because I'm going, but he's so difficult. You just told me he ran out. He wasn't listening. He didn't complete his work. But you're telling me my kid's amazing? Okay, well, he must be pretty cool then.
That's the thing. 2 schools, if he'd stayed at that different school, he would be a different child now.
Completely. It's so true.
It would have worn him down. Everything, other things that everyone loves him for.
Yeah.
No, you're not allowed to do that. That's rubbish. That's bad. That's naughty. That's not wanted.
Exactly.
You don't do that. And it's like, but that's what I want to do, and you're telling me I'm wrong. Therefore, I'm wrong. I'm not right. I'm broken.
Yeah.
I need fixing. Whereas, actually, if you celebrate those bits he does, yes, he's not going to fit in the typical secondary school mould. Mm-hmm. And I think the challenge is keeping him the way he is through secondary school, so that once he gets out of secondary school, he can be himself again and thrive. That's the thing. In business, who do you remember? The boring person or the person you had a great meeting with, made you feel, gave you that connection, listened, had fun with? That's the person you're going to remember and call.
Of course.
Not the person who just follows the rule quietly and sit. It's those sorts of things. It's that sort of person who can change a room.
Yeah, so true. It's so true. And that's the thing. That's why I don't want my child to change. Unfortunately, there's certain things at school. You do need to be able to sit down and do your work. They need to learn to read and write and do their maths. And that's just the way it is. And there are, unfortunately, rules that need to be followed in the big world, at school, at home. And we do need to teach our kids to be able to do those things. But it also needs to suit them. And we need to understand them to be able to work together and figure it all out one day at a time.
They need to be, I always like it, rules for a reason, not a rule because I said so.
Yeah.
I always spot those rules because I said so and ignore them.
Yeah.
But if it's a rule and I can see the reason, I'm like, yeah, I know why there's a speed limit. Mm-hmm. There's a speed limit for a very good reason.
Yeah.
Don't walk on the grass when it's that way I want to go. Is it fresh grass? No, it's been there for years. Should have put a path this way because that's where... If it's like they're seeding, it's fresh turf. Yes, I will not walk on the grass. Makes sense. But if it is, if people keep walking across the grass on that way, but that's where everyone wants to go, there needs to be a path there. That's where we're all going. Exactly. Don't just stick us. Yeah, rule for a rule, no. Rule for a reason, yes.
100%.
And I think neurodivergent people can spot those.
It's so true. It's very true that he asks, every kid asks a lot of why questions, but he genuinely needs to understand the logic.
Yeah.
He will look at you and say, why, Mom? And I'll tell him, and sometimes it's not good enough. And sometimes it's, okay, fine, I don't like it, but I get you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is it silent reading? Why is everyone silent? Because it's the rule. No, that's a silly reason.
Yeah.
Why is it silent reading? It's to help everyone concentrate. Some people can read and some people need to silence. Some people, so we just do it so everyone can read. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll try and keep quiet. Whereas because he said so, he says, I don't need to be quiet then. Cause
exactly.
Just that's the thing. Yeah.
So I have true.
My mum telling me off because I said so.
It's the worst.
That's not a reason. That's not a reason.
I know. So true. I like that.
It's just like, no, don't do it.
Gosh.
It has to be a reason. If you give me the reason, even if it's one I don't understand yet, and you might need to help me understand, I'll respect it and I'll appreciate it. And there might be at some point I'm going, I now get that rule.
Yeah.
Because today I need that.
It's true.
But just because, or this is the rules, or this is the way it's always been.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
Yeah, for sure.
So your son now has a diagnosis.
Yes. So Devin is now almost 6.5. What we ended up doing, because I had connections at the school that I worked at in Johannesburg, I ended up getting in touch with a psychiatrist who I used to work with, a child psychiatrist in Johannesburg, who is, I don't know how it would be explained, like recognized internationally. So I got in touch with my GP. They said as long as it's like an internationally recognized person, the diagnosis would be relevant here. And because we are still South African, we're not British citizens yet, we are South African, I felt it was a bit of a loophole, but I could get my son what he needed. So my husband and I had a Zoom call with the psychiatrist. We'd obviously answered some questions before. We had a meeting with him, and he ended this 45-minute Zoom call. My son wasn't on it. It was just the two of us, my husband and I. He ended it by saying, well, if you were in South Africa, I would have Devon on Ritalin tomorrow morning. And I said, well, what a pity, because that would have been great. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll go one step at a time. So within about 2 weeks, he had sent us a report confirming an ADHD diagnosis, which I sent to my GP. This was April last year, April 2024. And by June 2024, I had correspondence from the ADHD clinic saying that he is now on a wait list for medication. So we had effectively jumped up the process by a few years.
Good few years.
Yeah. And I don't apologize for that at all. I really and truly don't. Because we went private. You know, this is what the original school wanted. It's just that, again, private in South Africa versus private here is very, very different. Converting from rands to pounds didn't hurt as much. So that was quite nice. So he's on a medication wait list at the moment, which unfortunately was 12 months. But when I called last week, they said it has been pushed to 18 months. But I'm still not going to get upset because he could still be waiting for a diagnosis.
Yep.
So we're going to take the wins where we can. But yeah, he has the diagnosis. Everyone at school is very aware. Everyone at the school knows him, from the reception teachers to the year 6 teachers. They all know him. And they support him. And they understand him. I think with or without the diagnosis they would have, but it definitely helps to have it. And he's not labelled as naughty, and he's not labelled as the bad child. He's just the energetic child who happens to have ADHD. And yeah, it's really helped us, I think, knowing that medication is on the horizon definitely makes us feel like there is something that could hopefully assist him. I'm not an anti-medication parent. Again, having worked in that environment as the teacher, I see how much it can help children at school. I don't want to stifle him at home. We have the meltdowns. We'll talk about all that later. But it's not about that for me. It's about him accessing his learning. It's about not always being told, sit down, keep quiet, don't do that, come back, why aren't you listening? I just want him to be able to access his learning. He's a very intelligent child, but I can see the gap starting to form because he's missing out. And as he gets older, it's going to get harder. And I don't want that for him. So I'm very grateful we were able to push up the process a bit, and I'd like to think by the end of the year or early next year, he'll have the support that he needs from a medication perspective.
It's nice. So I don't have much experience with medication. I know in America they love it. In the UK we're all very against it. And I watched a BBC documentary, and it was really enlightening. It was I think Louis Theroux over in America, and one of the kids who was on medication volunteered to, I'll show you what I'm like without it.
Okay.
So they didn't take their medication that day, but a number of hours in, they're like, I can't do this. I don't like myself. I prefer myself on the medication because, and it is kind of there's two personalities. There's with and without. And it kind of gets rid of the impulsiveness, which can often get you into trouble, makes you jump up, do those things that get you into trouble. And often your probably son's doing the right thing but the wrong way. Yeah. So it just helps on those. But there are people who I know who take it during the school days, but not at weekends, not at school holidays. Yeah. It might be because they're doing sport and they want to be that impulsive person. It helps. So it's very much a personal thing, and it's getting the dosage right and things like that. But you mentioned that you started Thrive Creations after breaking down due to some meltdowns.
Right, yes.
So was it just 1 or 2 meltdowns?
Oh, I wish. I wish it was that simple. Thrive Creations wouldn't exist if it was just 1 or 2 meltdowns. They would have been a blip on the radar, but no. So meltdowns have been part of our lives for as long as I can remember. And this particular meltdown was him crying and me crying, him red in the face, me red in the face. We were both quite hysterical, actually. And what triggered it was we were at a play date and needed to go home. It's just as simple as that. Please put on your shoes. We're going. We had been at this house for 4 hours. It was time to go. And he freaked out and he ran away from me, and it had been a long day and I was tired and I just wanted to get home and I just wanted to relax, and I could see what was happening. And I was, it's one of those, gentle parenting. Well, stay calm. Come on, Dev. Time to put on your shoes. Let's go. That wasn't working. I thought I was hilarious. Literally running up the stairs away from me, hiding. I go after him. No, don't be silly. It's time to go. Still not working. Until eventually I picked him up and I took him to the car. It was raining. His shoes were off. I was already now very heightened, sweating. Oh gosh, everyone's looking at you and thinking, oh, she can't control her child. Get in the car. He's screaming, I don't want to go. Why are you taking me home? He's screaming. I'll have Alyssa was also at this play date. Left her there with my friend. She said, don't worry, I'll bring her home later. I said, thank you. And we drove home. It wasn't a long drive, but he was screaming, let me out of the car. Get me out. I don't want to be here. I hate you. Trying not to say it back because now I'm so heightened and I'm going, why are you behaving like this? And he's screaming, I'm screaming. It wasn't my proudest parenting moment, but he had just tipped me over the edge. And we got home and he said, I want to get out of the car. And I said, no, we're staying here until we calm down. It didn't really work, but eventually he climbed into the front. Why did you make me go home? Why did you pick me up? I said, you weren't listening to me. I don't understand why you don't listen to me. And at that point, I just burst out crying, thinking, why am I shouting at my child? He clearly can't control himself. He can't help it. I'm not doing anything to help him. The getting upset is helping me. It's not that it's helping me, but I needed to let out my frustrations. It wasn't doing anything for him. It wasn't changing anything. What am I doing? And eventually we both just broke. And he cried and said sorry, and I said sorry, and I love you. And we hugged and we went inside. He ran to Dad, because terrible mom had been shouting at him, obviously, even though we've apologized and we're friends again. Still he has to go run to Dad. And I went upstairs and I just sat in my room and I sobbed and sobbed. Terrible mother, all the feelings of guilt. And I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I should have given him a few more minutes. I shouldn't have handled it like this. And I just thought, these meltdowns have been happening more and more often, and this was a big one. But I can't really think about, if someone said to me, what's been triggering him for the last 3 months, 6 months, 2 weeks even, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I hadn't been writing it down. So, what are you going to do? Just write it on a scrap of paper that you're going to lose somewhere. And I sat there going, what can I do to help my journey, to help myself? Because I need to understand his behavior. Not so that I can fix it, but so I can help him. If there are triggers that I'm maybe not realizing are happening, transitions, okay, he clearly didn't want to leave this play date. If that's what keeps happening, maybe I can step in a bit earlier. Maybe I can change what I'm doing to make the process easier for him so we don't escalate in this way. And I'm going online and I'm looking and, what can I do to help myself? And I couldn't find it. So I made it. Yay. And that was how the Don't Just Survive, Thrive journal was born.
I got a hint. Do you know how this podcast started?
Tell me.
I always thought there should be a podcast for special needs. But no one else was doing it. And yet, so we just started it just as a little thing.
Yeah.
5 years later, 250 odd episodes.
Here we are.
And you've listened to all of them, apparently.
Every single one. Let's not go there. By the time this comes out, I'll have listened to every single one, so that's perfect.
That's fine.
Right. So for the next, I'd say 2 months after that, I sat every night, ignored my husband once the kids went to bed, went upstairs, sat with my laptop, and I created this journal. And I thought of all the areas where SEN parents like myself will need support. things that they will need to log and track and be aware of. So when it comes to meeting the GP, the psychiatrist, the play therapist, the school, all the people involved, so many people involved, you have a log. Because I promise you, in that moment, if I had to go speak to my GP or anyone and they said to me, you know what's been going on the last 6 months, I'd say, I have no idea.
But also, what you will also do is the bits you'll remember will be the really negative points.
Absolutely.
You'll remember that breakdown. You remember 3 others. Mm-hmm. You don't remember much details around them because you were so... And it's that sort of thing. You end up remembering some of it.
Yeah.
But actually the clues which are also there, you forget.
Exactly. It's not the full picture.
And also, you're trying to tell this story. You're back in that zone. You're probably going to start getting emotional again because you're retelling that breakdown. It's what happens.
Yeah, of course. It's a very emotional journey.
Yes.
Very emotional. And this is it. And I think also there are so many factors that come into play. So the journal has, for instance, areas logging sleep, logging moods. There's a section for medication. It doesn't have to be actual medication. It could be, you know, any vitamins or supplements or anything they're on. You know, any meetings that you've had with the school where they've given you feedback, okay, he had a really bad week or bad day, these things happened. All those things are actually connected to each other. So yes, there was a meltdown, but what kind of sleep did he have? And, you know, what was the school day like? And all these factors that really affect each other, if you're not logging it, how are you going to be aware of it?
Now, the fact you've got that kind of that information from school, which you're recording, is really important because I know schools where some parents have been on the same journey as you and constantly talked to by the school, constantly having bad days, things like that. None of it was ever recorded. Yeah. So when they go to that EHCP part and they're trying to do that, well, there's no evidence. There have been no problems. And it is like... Actually, there's been lots. It's just not been recorded by the school.
Exactly.
So if every time the school is having that pulling you aside or it's been a bad day, you're recording it, you now have that log. Even if the school doesn't, you do.
Well, that's it. And that's why, like in the journal, there's a meeting section, but there's a school communication section. School communication is impromptu. That is the pulled aside at the end of the day or quick phone call at 11 o'clock in the morning or the... popped you an email just to let you know. All those little bits and pieces get written down in the journal because otherwise they are lost forever. I mean, there would be times the school would call me or I'd speak to a teacher. I would forget to tell my husband and then it goes out of my head. Well, now it's gone forever. And that's all evidence and it's all important and it's all part of his journey that if it's not written down, it's gone.
And this journal to me has got 2 sides. There is that kind of next stage of what's happening. Yeah. Maybe I need all the information, I need everything written down. But also the other one is unpicking what's going on with him. So we learned quite early on with my daughter, never do sleepovers during term time.
Okay.
She never slept. She would be up till 4 o'clock in the morning, having stupid food, doing all of that. It was what you did on a sleepover, so that's what she did. So that would happen maybe on a Friday or a Saturday. Then she'd get home late, and then not much sleep that night. And then that week would be just hell.
Yeah.
No one's fault. Not intentional.
Of course. she
lacked sleep. School is not the easiest if you're neurodivergent. It took a lot of effort. It went worse as the week went on. So we learned after a couple of years, because you never learn on the first, second, third or fourth time.
Never.
Yeah, we just do sleepovers at half term. Yeah. And she hated it at first, but then she kind of understood.
Yeah.
She could appreciate it. And that's the sort of thing, there is that younger child is hard to reason.
Yeah.
As they get older, there's a little bit more looking back. And one of the things, 2 things I remember with my kids, which I learned, one of them was having a code word. Because that story you got chasing around, now it's a game. Yeah. Now we're just having a fun. Now it's the mum wants to put your shoes on game, but I don't want to game.
Such fun.
And it's a game, and then suddenly it's not a game. And my daughter would not pick up the switch.
Okay.
And I remember one time she said, "Why are you shouting at me?" And I'm like, "Because you wouldn't listen." And she looked at me going, "But we were having fun." And I'm going,
"I wasn't."
Yes, we were at a game, but I still needed you to do it.
Yeah.
So we just came up with a code word. And if I just said that to her, it was basically meant stop and think about what you're doing because I need you to do it.
Okay.
But it just went, I'd just go, Pikachu. And she just, and I remember time saying it, she just looked at me like going, but we are having so much fun right now. And I'm going, Pikachu. She's looking at me going, like, really confused, going, you're not Pikachuing me. Yeah. No.
This makes no sense.
This makes no sense. And she just stopped and was really grumpy about it, but did what I asked. We didn't get grumpy with each other.
Okay.
And that was I think it took her to be older.
Yeah.
You can't do it when they're young.
Yeah.
But it took her to be older but you need me to do. I don't. Yeah. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
And you explain it for my thing, again, older. It really helped.
Yeah.
But even what's interesting, even when she's in secondary school, I think she was doing something, and I just looked at her and went, Pikachu. And it was not in any same context. And she just looked at me and went, like, you have not just Pikachu.
Yeah. You've got to be kidding me.
Like, I'm a teenager, and it's like, different, but it's the same sort of thing. Yeah. It's sort of like, just think about just reassess the situation.
Yeah.
Great when they're older.
Yeah.
When they're little, that's all on you as a parent.
Correct.
And because you're emotional, and also you're at the date picking them up, and you've only got a short time because you've got so many other things to do.
Of course.
And time constraints, doing the right thing, tired, busy day.
Yep.
He's having the best play. It's never gonna. It is kind of that recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
There's loads of strategies you could use.
That's it.
But you've kind of got to remember to use them in the moment when you're emotional. And I've learned it always takes more time.
Yeah.
And as I get older, again, it's that conversation after, which my children always hate with me. But kind of replaying the event
After
and taking
the
them through.
Yeah.
You can't do that when they're young.
Yeah.
That has to come when they're older, and then they learn.
Okay, so how many years are you giving me before I can...
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
And the one thing which, again, it's always lovely when you're being told what you should have done. I'm really trying not to say this.
It's okay.
But it's the same. Again, we had this battle with my daughter, and it was over when they're playing games. Yeah, and I've learned about anything is when they're playing online games, Fortnite, whatever, they're in the middle of something. If you shout dinner, there's still 7 minutes of their game left. Yeah. They cannot leave. Yeah. There's no point in you saying dinner again a minute later, then going up there and shouting at them. There's a clock saying they're in this game. Yeah. They've got it's. So I've learned to go up 15 minutes before dinner and give them some warning, and they'll know to end the game and so on. But it's just that reflection. Imagine you're doing your day, you're living your day, whatever it is you're doing. Then I just walk in and shout, I need you to do this, and give you something completely random you don't want to do completely. You're not going to be able to just jump up from what you're doing. You want to finish writing what you're writing. Yeah. You're finish organising. You're halfway through filling out a form book, and whatever it is, you'll want to finish it. Yeah. And again, I've just put that through my child's eyes. I'm having a lovely game. Yes, let me just finish this. Yeah. And it's just, again, that 15 minutes warning. I've just learned as my kids have got older, right, 15 minutes, and we'll put in shoes on. It's kind of that subconsciously it's going in and filtering down. Yeah. And when you say shoes on, they're like, right. But again, for them, I think it comes with that as they're older, and I think you're probably getting into that zone, that 15-minute warning on anything, even works with partners, that one as well.
Oh, good to know.
I've learned that. And I'm explaining that with my wife, using it with me.
I love the honesty.
Yes, there's lots of things like that with work with me as well. And my wife also knows to give me one thing at a time to do at weekends. So we learn things, and it's about that. Again, if you were trying to put yourself in your child's, you would instantly just tweak a few things. Yeah. But that's great. We're having a lovely, calm conversation.
Exactly.
When you're doing that pick up from a play date this day, that's not going to come, I know exactly what to do. Exactly. Dale told me. And I'm going to say Pikachu to him. Oh, no, I haven't prepped him on Pikachu. Yeah. No, I need to. So again, but again, I think I'm a very analytical person. So you're writing things down. By my head works, I can do that in my head. Right. So it was that kind of going, why are we having such a nightmare at the end of the week? Looking back,
Makes sense.
So again, I'm quite good at doing that, but again, that's when I'm in a good place.
Yes.
I always get to say to me, why are you always so calm with us, Dad? It's quite easy. I get to stay away from you.
It really helps.
It really helps. Just to breathe in, breathe out in a hotel room on my own, get some peace and quiet, come back. Oh, it's the kids again. I love my kids. But it is, my wife never had that break.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think when you like that single mum, that sort of constant.
Absolutely.
It drains.
Yeah, it really does.
But I love the fact you have this journal, because it's the thing, I talk to lots of parents at shows and they're going, what do I do? I'm on this journey and I'm fighting the school. I just say, log it.
Yeah.
You have to keep that log. And we talked about on things when your child's masking. Why are they masking? What is it they're doing? What's the cause? And my nephew used to really struggle, really anxiety when it was Big Right Thursday. So they say, don't forget it's Big Right Thursday. You'd have a horrible night because of the next day.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not what's happened that day, it's what's happening the next day.
What's coming, yeah.
So, yeah, having it all logged down, you can then start to piece the things together.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. And, I mean, at this point, I can tell you we have sold, I think, about 220 journals so far since the beginning of the year. And the feedback I've gotten from people who are kind enough to give me feedback is what a difference it's made to have everything, to be able to start seeing patterns, to be able to start understanding. It's not a fix it in the moment situation at all, but just to be able to start seeing one thing. Oh, wow, the last 4 times this has happened, it was because of that. Or every time we were here, this occurred. And they start to pick up on these things that without having logged it, they might not have seen. And it's just been like a game changer.
I'm having flashbacks to my colleague John. His daughter had a meltdown in London.
Oh, lovely.
So to him, his plan was they're going to go up. We're in South London. He's in South London. Go up to London, go up to Waterloo, walk along the South Bank, have a nice time and go home.
Right.
He said it's time to go home. She has a huge meltdown. He reacts, doesn't go well. He comes in next day, and I just went, okay. Has she been up there before? I went, oh yeah, I went up there with my wife. I went, cool. What was I did this and they went for lunch. I went, cool. Did you go for lunch? No. How many times has she been up there? 3. Cool. Has she had lunch up there the other 2 times? He went, and you can see the cogs turning.
Hang on a minute.
Yes. So, day in London, walk along the Thames, go for lunch. Go on the Thames, go home. Hang on, the lunch bit was supposed to happen. The lunch bit's not happened. But young child, can't explain that, can't. It's just that.
So true.
And he sat there and went, a good one for me. And again, this was a learning experience which I pass on to. I don't generally pass information on to younger parents or parents of younger children. Learn it yourself. Because it will be different. It will be different. Whatever you're told, whatever advice you're told, oh, you'll definitely need this. You go and buy it. And it sits there collecting dust. You've never used it. So I don't do that. But the one was, we used to go out for a day out somewhere and you go to the gift shop. So you buy your kid something little. Once you do that a few times, the expectation is day out, gift. Day out, gift. And then when you get to that gift shop, they start having meltdowns because you're not getting them the gift. So you actually, and you don't do days out. And it's like, yeah, so I just said to him, just don't buy anything in the gift shop.
Yeah.
Ever. Just don't, ever. You'll be late. He's like, but I went, no, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
You're setting an expectation.
And then one day he went, we did it. We went, bought to the gift shop. Next time, meltdown.
Have I taught you nothing?
But it is. It's being told the path and walking the path. Very different.
So different.
But I think it's journaling is real. And it's saying is that spotting the patterns, improving your life and your child's life.
Exactly.
That relationship.
Yeah.
Finding those triggers.
Yeah. So important.
Really important. But also that if you're trying to move that further down the journey with the HCPs and things like that, or if things aren't working and you're trying to challenge, you need to have a log of everything.
Yeah.
Don't rely on the school to pull out their information.
Yeah, it's not enough. Another thing that I must say about the journal as well, we talk, again, it's a huge thing about the challenges, about the difficulties, the patterns, the triggers. There's also a section for celebration, which I felt was so imperative as a parent, because when it comes to this journey, and especially, you're looking for support from all these various players, you need to almost talk about how terrible things are for them to support you. But as a parent, you need to remember the positives as well, because if you're just basically writing a journal about how terrible your child is, it doesn't read well.
You believe your narrative.
Exactly. And that's not the case. You're doing that for a purpose. Obviously, you're looking to make adaptations to help your child find those triggers, help them however you can. But at the same time, there are those little wins and little moments that come up that, like you said, you get so emotional, you forget about the good times. You're focusing on the problems, on the bad times, on the challenges. And there are little things that happen. Devin and his sister have the most interesting relationship. She adores him. He's not always her biggest fan. But there are moments where you just see little sparks of love that come from him. Be it he goes to the cupboard and gets a snack and he brings one for her. Or she's freaking out because I'm brushing her hair and it hurts, and he just leans over and holds her hand. Those little moments. It's funny because it seems like nothing, but I know what he's usually like with her.
It's I don't like you, but I love you.
There we go. That is exactly it. Because he genuinely doesn't like her. The way he acts, you wouldn't think they're even siblings. He just, I don't have time for you. I want to watch what I want to watch. I want to play with what I want to play with. Go away. Leave me alone. But then these little moments happen, and they seem insignificant to other people. But to me, I'm going, wow, you did something that was so cool. And I don't want to forget that. So really, at the end of the day, the chances are I'll probably just remember your meltdown. But if I write down the positive things, the little wins, then I can remember those too, because it's harder to remember those.
And sometimes a celebration to anyone else is not a celebration.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was the half the time of the meltdown, absolute win.
There we go.
Another one, had a play date, no fight at the end. And that, we laugh, but in reality,
so
after
true.
that one you had, that would be an amazing win.
Exactly, huge win. It's so true, and that's why I just felt, as much as the primary purpose of the journal is to find the triggers, the patterns, to have all the evidence, we as parents have to remember the positives as well. It's so important for us and for our kids to celebrate our kids, to not keep giving them the negative feedback, the stop it, don't do it, sit down, come here, I said no. But I'm so proud of you. That was beautiful. Well done. They need that.
They definitely need it. If your Devon was at the first school, he would have constantly had that negativity,
Exactly.
and you need to fill them with some positivity.
Exactly.
My daughter's in secondary school has been survival. It's been 5 years of you've got to survive this.
Yeah.
And doing things outside of school, finding fun things, finding great things to look forward to. Yeah, 3 more weeks of school, but then we get to do this.
Yeah.
And it is, you're I'm forcing you to go to school, you don't enjoy it, but in reality, for your future life, you've got to suck it up.
Yeah, basically.
But also make it very clear that this isn't the future life, this is just a 5-year block.
Yeah.
And there are lots of breaks, and we can really enjoy those breaks. And literally this year, when it's a GCSE year, we've been counting down the weeks since Christmas. I've got this many weeks left.
Wow.
You've got this many days left. It was literally been counting down, and they sort of went, there's going to be a change on study leave, and I'm going, no, I can't, I'm not, no, we've drawn a line.
Yeah.
That line cannot change.
Absolutely not.
But there's those positives, and it is, again, it's finding that positive for you and them. I talk about, on the podcast, we talk about like what Christmas is. Complete segue, but what is a celebration for you and your child? What is a great day? What is the best way to spend a day with your child is completely different.
Yeah.
And you might think, let's go to Legoland. And that might actually be the worst thing.
Yeah.
So it's actually going, okay, what would be a great day for my child? And that might be watching a film on an iPad with your child in a fort.
Yeah.
With cereal for lunch.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're having a great time and he's happy and he's cuddling you.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And you
Yeah.
get to write that down.
Yeah.
And it's that bit of positivity that you have in the bank for you, and even for your child, that you carry into the next week.
Yeah.
And you get to, it carries you a bit further.
Yeah, it's so true. So yeah, that's why I thought it was necessary, just to be in there as well. So we're not only focusing on the problems and the negatives. And then there's also a section for parent self-care, which I ummed and ahed about putting in, because I did get a bit of feedback of, who has time for that? But I figured, no, it's in the journal, make time for it. And it doesn't have to be huge. It's not, as much as we'd all love to go spend a day at the spa or, go away for the weekend with our friends. It doesn't have to look like that. It can literally be, I go for walks in the evening once my kids are asleep, half an hour walk around the block. I put music in my ears that I love.
Not a podcast.
No, but that's next. The next walk I do will only have a podcast in my ears, of course. Just wait. Hypothetically, a podcast or music in my ears, but that is my time, and I need that to fill my cup. And I can then come back, and I can be more present and available and feel more like myself. And it's so important to find those moments. It doesn't have to be every day, as much as we'd love it, but just to find the little moments where you can, even if it is just having a hot cup of coffee that doesn't go cold, something small that's for you, because we have to look after ourselves too.
Now, it might be my neurodivergence, but generally my best way of filling that cup is on my own.
Me too, actually. If I'm very honest with you.
Like, just, go to Costa Coffee. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Just sit in a chair on your own and just silence, that peace.
Just be.
Just be. Generally, in those moments, you think about things, you reflect on things. If you meet up with someone else, you'll probably hear their problems.
Yeah.
And I love all my friends. I do. But in that moment, when you're that parent and you're struggling, when their parents go, my child, he's so naughty, he did this, you're literally going, swear word.
Yeah. Don't you dare. But it's so true. Sometimes you just need not to be needed by anyone.
Yep.
Not to be wanted by anyone. Just to be alone with yourself and decompress a little bit.
After years of travelling and COVID hit, I said to my wife, I fantasise about it. She went, what? I went to a hotel room. And she looked at me and went, no, on my own.
Just to be clear.
On my own. No one. Not even no. I'm not even no.
No.
Just alone.
So true.
And when I go, what do I want for dinner? Chinese. I just go and have it whenever I want. That is living the dream.
It really is.
Not Chinese. Oh no, that child doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh no, because that's no. I can just have what I want when I want.
Yeah.
That
is the dream.
That's the dream.
How sad.
But that's the thing. I think as that parent, like I've had prom season, I've had exams, the revision, college coming up. That's my daughter. There's a lot of change, transitions. Label it what you want. I call it stress for my daughter. Yeah. And my job is to be there to support, check how we're going, how can I make it easier. My other daughter, who'd been to college, showed my other youngest how to get to college. So that was nice. Aww. But it's just that, it's one of those things where you go, right, a lot of it is focusing on my daughter, got a good couple of months. Yeah. Yep. We couldn't even say the revision word. That was banned in the house because so we couldn't. But that was it. That's fine. My daughter comes first for a couple of months. Yeah. I can pick it up later. But as long as I do have that. Exactly. And I think every parent, the younger they are, the more demanding, ongoing it is.
Very true.
And what I would say is it probably gets, I think there's a lot of physical playing when they're young. Yeah, you're joining in. And that drifts off. It's completely fooled with the emotional side.
Great. Okay. So something to look forward to.
From my experience.
Yeah.
Same but different.
Right.
But again, and I think somebody, even if they have these journals, I can imagine if you're looking through this journal, you can look back after a year and then you'll suddenly see actually how much different there is. How much because as they grow, things as they age,
Yeah, absolutely.
they will change, they will grow. That development is there; it's just behind and things like that. So actually, over time, you'll see change.
Yeah.
But when you're in the middle, you do not see it.
It's so true. And I think that's the thing is we could have a few days without a meltdown and go, wow, there's such improvement and, things are going so much better. Then there's a meltdown, we go, oh, regression. But really, it doesn't mean regression because the meltdowns aren't going to go away. The behaviors aren't going to go away and disappear. But you're right. If I look back 6 months ago to where we are now, writing 3 meltdowns a day versus 1 or 2 a week is huge growth and it is huge improvement. When you're in it, you don't necessarily feel it. But if you can look back and go, wow, actually, this is our journey and look how far we've come in this period of time, you can give yourself a pat on the back and go, okay, I'm not doing everything wrong.
I'm just doing 90%
just
wrong.
Just a few things wrong, but not everything.
Not everything. I'm not as bad as the parent. Yeah, you can. It's just find those bits of celebration.
Yeah.
And remember, and again, your child having your meltdown, it's nothing about you.
Yeah.
It's about he wants to play the game. Him saying I hate you, it's got nothing about you. It's just that primal dysregulated communication coming out. To, if I say this, I'll get what I want. Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
It's generally, those meltdowns are never about you, but you're the person
on the receiving end.
On the receiving end. Yeah.
Good times.
Good time. Best of times. So, we've mentioned your journal.
Yes.
But you've got something else coming out soon, haven't you?
Yes. So I recently brought out a Thrive for Kids collection. Everything I'd done up until now was focused on the parents, on supporting us. I mean, that was where it sort of grew from, was my need for support and thinking other parents like me needed the same support. And as I started growing the business and thinking, what else is out there, what else is needed, I started Thrive for Kids. So it's activity books, support books for emotional regulation, back to school transitions, things that can support the children as well. And something that is a passion project of mine that I'm now in the process of working on, that is hopefully a few months away from coming out, is a little book series, a 10-book series about emotions. So it's 10 little characters, each with their own emotion. I'm not going to give anything away about these characters, but they are so cute and so cool. I can't wait for people to see them. My kids actually saw them for the first time recently, and they love them. So, I mean, if my kids love them, everyone's going to love them, obviously. And it's really going to be a book series for kids to feel heard and understood in those different emotions: anger, worry, embarrassment, loneliness. Anger was the first one I wrote because it was based on Devon, which I told him. He was actually very proud of himself that, there was a character modeled on him. But genuinely, these books are being written with the intention of children hearing them. I mean, don't think they'd be able to read them themselves when they're small. When they're older, they can. But to actually feel seen and heard and feel understood, I feel these feelings and I sometimes behave like that and I can't always control myself, or, sometimes I feel like that and I don't know what to do, and it's not just me and I'm not alone in this. They'll all end with a kind of toolkit double page of, these are things you can do if you're feeling like this, ways to help you, ways to support you. And, not to blow my own trumpet, but I think they're pretty amazing and I think kids are going to love them. So I'm very excited for them to come out soon. I
think, as I mentioned earlier, is that putting yourself in that child's thing. I think we forget. Yeah. We've got all our demands on our lives and we're just saying to the kids, you've got to do this, I need you to do this, I need you to do this. Mm-hmm. Not you should, or for any reason, just because I need you. Yeah. And I think sometimes we forget what it's like for those children, so validating those feelings, validating it. You know what? Yes, you need me to put the shoes on, but I'm building a castle and that's much more important. But it's how managing those and helping them understand that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the bit that I've known for years, and the fact that there's a nice little journal out there, is that recording and journaling is so important for the finding out why the meltdown, seeing that pattern.
Yeah.
The ability to reflect back on where you were, celebrate those things.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you might find talking with the child through your journal can be really powerful, but it's having it written down.
Yeah.
And it might be you write it down in that day and it's a bit emotional.
Yeah.
But again, you can reflect back on a better time of how you were and things like that. But if you don't have everything written down, and there's probably a lot more than people, when you go to annual review and someone says something, immediately emotions are there.
Yeah.
All that prepared stuff you wanted to say, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's completely gone.
Yeah.
But actually, having this journal can help you be stronger in that moment, because you know, actually, yes, there's been negatives, but there's been a lot of positive.
Yeah.
And actually, we've worked really hard, and actually, I can see a pattern. It gives you so much more to help formulate what you want to say.
Exactly.
In those moments.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's the thing. It's a log for you. It's a log for those moments. It's a log to be able to express and communicate what's going on. And I think it's so important just to have it in one place. I know that's why I said to you when this meltdown occurred, and okay, so I was going to write it down and then lose the piece of paper. And then someone asks me and I go, I don't know, I can't remember this and that. It's literally all in one place for you to communicate it, to see it, to just have it all together, feel organized. I mean, I know for me, my head can be all over the show. If I just write it down, I feel a little bit, it's not always a lot, but a little bit more calm, a little bit more organized and prepared for what I need, and I can navigate my day just a little bit better. And that's what I want this to do for parents. As much as it's to find the triggers, the patterns, I just want them to feel supported, to have everything in one place and feel like they've got this, even on the days that maybe they don't. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because we all feel that way.
Definitely. And after that lovely chat. But it's about making those changes. It's about moving forward. It's kind of learning from things that have happened and taking us all forward. But I'm going to wrap it up here.
Perfect.
And I'm not allowed to mention a certain name, which we're...
No, let's not. Let's not do it. That can be off air.
That can be off air. Fine, that's fine. Just pure entertainment, private joke, which somehow came out of nowhere. And Sharona found very entertaining. And I'm tempted to say the name.
But he's not going to.
Not going to. There's not even a reason for the name. That's the best bit.
Yeah.
Random joke. So, thank you for coming on the show today. As always, for all my guests, they share their contact details, and you'll find those in the show notes. And you'll also find links to Thrive Creation's website to find out more about Sharona's products. You can find, that's Sharona. I said Sharona.
You did. I chose not to correct
Sharona.
you. You did it.
I did it myself. You can also find the show notes wherever you listen to the podcast or on our website. So thank you for listening to the show. If you want to get in touch, let us know your thoughts, suggest topics or anything else, please send us a message via social media or send an email to hello@thesencast.com. The SENcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared, and we help to show the small sets of progress pupils with SEN make. And we help schools to show that progress for a wide range of abilities and ages. And we have a range of frameworks for students from birth all the way through to 25. We have our Steps for Life framework that assesses functional academic skills, employability skills, and all those independent living skills. And for our most complex learners working within the engagement model, our engagement steps can build a profile of the child's students' needs and show the progress they are making. Visit the B Square website or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me to take you through our assessment software and what it can do for you. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the SENcast. It's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.